But the Brady thing's fascinating to me because it doesn't sound like he's done, but did we see the GOAT play his final game? I mean, what are his options going to be? Because to your point earlier, I mean, there's a little bit of juice left, but it's not a weekly thing. It's not even an all-game thing at this point. He showed flashes this season of his old self, but that's all they were. And in order for him to win at this point, you got to be basically perfect around him. Well, where is that's looking for a quarterback? Vegas? They're not perfect. Not anywhere close. Who else is looking for a quarterback? Baltimore? Might be interesting. But I feel like they will go elsewhere because I haven't seen them pop up in the Brady sweepstakes. Who else needs a quarterback? Carolina? I think he's going to go to the Panthers in that situation? So how many options are there for him to continue his career at 46 years old? And will those people want him? It's a two-way street, right? Fascinated by this.
Did it end last night?
I wonder if it did.
By the way, it's not like he stops getting paid if he stops playing football. He has a $37 million a year television contract at Fox waiting on him the second he hangs it up completely. $37 million for a guy that's never sat in a broadcast booth in his life on an NFL Sunday.
His agent said, "Get me the Richard Cross package."
Yes, he did. I wish my agent would say, "Get me that Richard Cross package as well." I don't have an agent. Maybe that's the first step. Maybe that's where I should begin.
You should be represented by Borky and Haydad. We'll get you that. We'll get you what you deserve.
Okay.
Did you hear Borky talking you up earlier?
I did.
And then I'm the iron hand of negotiation.
The Iron Sheik, if you will.
ESPN?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. What do you make of the Brady thing, Haydad? What do you make of it? Where's he going? What's he going to do?
I thought about that some this morning because I thought about the Saints, and I was like, would they, for 1 year, just to maybe but my thought with the Saints was they don't have a high draft choice to go ahead and take the quarterback of the future and let him sit a year and learn from Brady or do whatever, right? They don't have that. So the Saints doesn't make any sense to me. I do think he'll play another year, and I hope it's not a Joe Namath in L.A. or kind of situation. I hope he can still be productive. I don't want to see Tom Brady struggling and throwing, 18 touchdowns and 17 interceptions in a season. But I don't know where he's going to go. There's going to be some team out there. You mentioned the Raiders. That feels like a very Raiders kind of move, too. So that's something to watch. Baltimore, I think Baltimore is smart enough that even if they lose Lamar Jackson, to shy away from that. They have a good young team. They just need to find another guy. I don't think they would go there. But the Raiders is interesting to me.
Are we sure that it's not back with the Bucs?
He's a completely unrestricted free agent.
No. Yeah.
So some of the NFL writers at ESPN took a shot at where they think he'll be next. Where would he want to play in 2023? Jeremy Fowler suggested the Raiders. Dan Graziano suggested the Dolphins.
See, and why? Why would Miami want that?
Because Tua can't stay healthy? If you bring Tom Brady in, it's not for him to be a backup.
No, absolutely not.
Jenna Lane, who is a Bucs reporter, suggests that the Buccaneers might be the right answer. Sal Palantonio says the Jets. There's some pieces on that Jets team.
There are. Some talk about Todd Monken going there.
Jason Reed and Mike Tannenbaum both suggest the Raiders field Yates, Buccaneers.
May end up staying in Tampa, but is that team good enough to win next year? I mean, I wonder, too. I mean, I guess he's so uber competitive it doesn't matter, but at what point, if you're him, do you want to say enough is enough on my body? Father Time catches up to everybody, even people like him. I mean, you said it earlier, he physically doesn't look well. Now, I at 46, I would love to
look.
look
a steak into the diet every now and then wouldn't be the end of the world.
That avocado tequila that he's drinking or whatever.
That's what my doctors told me.
Is it now?
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Brady, he looks skinny now.
Yeah, unhealthy.
Well, I'm not going to say that he looks unhealthy.
Like, for him.
Well, like in the face, though, he looks gaunt.
Yeah.
He's as thin as a promise.
He looks like a side character in The Last of Us. Great pilot, by the way.
He looks like the third boss in Silent Hill. What's going on here?
But, man, somebody on the text line said Saints. I'm a hard no on that. I don't think that he can do what you need to do at this point. I mean, especially when you've got other guys out there like Carr and Jimmy G. And I would hope the Saints are smart enough to try to get Lamar Jackson to listen, because that's going to be a possibility.
So Lucas in Union says, I'll offer two, Niners and Panthers. Well, help me understand why those make sense. First of all, the Niners, I think, feel pretty good about where they are, right? They've got Trey Lance, who got hurt before the season even got going. Feels like it's safe to assume that Jimmy Garoppolo won't be back, but I mean, every time we assume that, he ends up back in a Niners uniform. And this Brock Purdy kid's got a little something. Like, I'm not even sure that Trey Lance can start for them next year if Purdy wins another game or two in the playoffs.
Let him beat the Cowboys and tell me that he's not starting next year.
So,
yeah,
that strikes me as probably not. And then the Panthers, Lucas, they're terrible on the offensive line. You need the steel curtain to be hanging in front of Tom Brady on your offensive line for him to have a chance to be successful. Hunter